5 years ago, COVID swept the country, as you remember, infecting millions. And scientists are already concerned about the next airborne threat. But there's a new tool that could help them fight it.
And is technology linked to dementia? UW Health's Dr. Jeff Potoff is here with us with the answers. Dr. Potoff, thank you for always joining us. All right, so tell us about this new tool about fighting another potential pandemic.
Yeah, I think this is interesting. So a lot of us are familiar with ultraviolet light. There's three spectrums. There's A and B, and we're familiar with those because that's what causes sunburns, and we wear sunscreen for that. There's actually UVC, which the ozone filters out, so naturally we're not exposed to it, but we can man-made create it. And we've actually been using this in hospitals. So say at UW Health, we want to clean a patient room. We do normal cleaning, but then we have almost like a robot that bathes the whole room in UVC, and it kills any remaining bacteria, viruses. Wow. Pretty cool, right? The problem is this is really bad for your eyes, so people can't be in the room when it's happening. This new technology is a very short wavelength of UVC that is safe for humans. So the idea is, like, could you actually bathe rooms in this light, which would kill viruses, bacteria that could be in there? That might decrease transmission of norovirus, like in schools, maybe help against influenza, or if there is another pandemic, is that a tool we can use to almost sterilize spaces?
Wow, that could be huge.
That'd be pretty interesting.
Follow up to that, though, with the bird flu, if that becomes an issue in the air, is that a possible remedy?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I think the question is like how much air is moving around, and does that UV light have time to affect the virus and knock it down? But from these early studies, it sounds like it wouldn't hurt. We would just need to understand, you know, would it be helpful? Could we actually kill these viruses before we're able to breathe them in and get sick?
And if you could time travel and go back 5 years ago, would you have thought that something like this would even be possible, you know, to combat some of these viruses that we're facing today?
No, I think, you know, we've always had this UV light, but there's always been the risk of, like, well, you can't expose people to it. If it was UVA or B, we'd all get sunburn, get skin cancer. If it's UVC, it was bad for our eyes. So the idea that there's maybe a wavelength that's actually safe but still effective, we didn't know that back then.
And now to another story. We've been talking about this study that technology can be helpful for dementia, and we're all kind of going, helpful? In what way?
Yeah, so I think the going hypothesis is that as people, and this is like the first generation of folks who are getting older, like past their 50s into their 70s, who had technology available. The idea is that if they spend a lot of time on tech, it's kind of like if you don't use your brain, you lose it. So if you're mindlessly scrolling, we would see increased rates of dementia in these folks. Early studies are saying maybe not. We're not necessarily seeing those increased rates of dementia. I think the question mark that's still out there is we don't actually know. This study doesn't tell us what people are doing on their technology. Are they doom scrolling TikTok? If so, maybe not helpful. But if they're actually using technology and learning how to do things and keeping their mind busy, it actually might do the opposite. It might actually stave off dementia and mental decline because those folks are keeping their minds active.
Yeah. Maybe that population is doing things more like shopping and emailing rather than being on TikTok. Just a guess.
Yeah, and I think we'll see more studies now to say, what are people doing on technology that is both helpful or maybe harmful?
What if you're playing like Tetris? That keeps the mind active. Is that going to help out?
I think that counts, right? It's got to. Or Candy Crush. I mean,
yeah,
I know my mom plays Candy Crush.
I mastered Tetris when I was a kid. Seriously. Just saying.
All right, as always, Dr. Potoff, thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much. Have a good day.